If you've ever been stuck in a rut creatively and you want to take your photography to the next level, this is one of the best ways you can do it. This is a portfolio review. A couple of years ago, we had a look at the photographs of Chris Manning. He gave us a range of photographs from wedding to documentary to wrestling to portrait. It's a real good range. I remember it well. It was a wonderful set of images and it was a pleasure to look at it. He's come back to us a couple of years down the road and he wants us to take a look at some of the new images in his portfolio. It's a pleasure and a privilege to do this. So without further ado, let's just dive straight in and have a look at the work he submitted and offer some feedback. Now, as ever, when we're looking at these images, we're looking to see what they make us feel, but we're also looking at them from a more technical point of view, from lighting, from composition to cropping, to technical ability there, and seeing what we can do to take the photographs to the next level. So without further ado, let's just jump in and see what Chris has sent to us. Our first image here, I think, is of Jimmy Jacobs and of Dean Moxley, or Mox, in the foreground there, looking very intimidating in the foreground here. I like the fact that he's the centre of interest. I like the fact that we can see Jimmy looking at him from behind there. I like the fact that the fans are there, but they're slightly underexposed compared to the front of the image. The focus, the brightest part of the image, is drawing our eye into the subjects in the middle of that shot. I love the triangle that's being created here, not only with Jimmy in the background, but mainly with Mox in the foreground, with his legs apart on that front step with the toe slightly pointing up. The natural triangle coming in there creates a really strong dominant shape. Some of the best photographs you'll see historically, some of the most famous photographs in the world, utilize shape and form to the maximum to create impactful shots. And that's what we've got here in a really dusty, muggy arena there. I love the little half turn of the face. It looks like it's really challenging lighting conditions in this arena, but also not mixed lighting conditions. Sometimes when you go to a gym, they'll have the fluorescent light tubes on, they'll have their LED light tubes on over there, they'll have these funny tungsten sort of spotlights coming in. You've got all these mixture of color temperatures. Not so in this one. It looks like it's actually been simplified. I'd like to see this one in black and white. I think it's got a really grimy, gritty feel to it. But yeah, overall, a good observation there and a great use of shape in the foreground. On to image number 2 here, and we've got a masked wrestler behind another mask. Are they number plates? They're sort of bolt screwed in as well. It's a really clean lighting capture. We've got our main light coming in from the right hand side. We've got a kicker light on the left hand side here, just giving us a little separation from the background. The background there of like the face and the teeth and the nose there. I kind of think possibly it's not quite symmetrical. It's not quite in the middle there, but it's not quite asymmetrical enough to draw our eye across. I think the impact here from the hands coming up and the look straight down the middle of the lens leads us to a more symmetrical sort of composition, which would have given us a bit more impact if we'd have just moved our subject over to the left hand side. So we're filling the frame with the background of that graffiti and that wall art in the background. See the black and white mouth and the nose? Fill the frame with that to not have the distracting element of the background on the right hand side there where it goes sort of brown and a little bit lighter. Place our subject right in the middle and have us look straight down the middle of the lens. We may have had a slightly more cleaner composition, a slightly cleaner palette across the whole image there. But what an interesting subject. And I love the fact that you've managed to focus in and pick out the eyes beyond that mask. Because ultimately, although we're fighting against a lot of different things, a mask in a skull coming down, the denim, the leather, the number plates, the colour in the mask, the haircut, the background, there's a lot of elements that are fighting there. Ultimately, the more you look at it, the more it comes down to those eyes behind the mask. And that's what you're trying to get at with these masked wrestler photos. You're trying to reach in and just see if you can get what's behind that mask. And I think that's a good attempt there from Chris on this one. You're a braver man than me. You're a braver man than me. I wouldn't be anywhere near as close as you are to this. Fluorescent tubes. I tried to buy some recently, but they told me that they only sell LED tubes now for our studio, so we have to change all of our lighting in here, which is great. But yeah, I mean, this is caught on the smash. Glass going everywhere. Again, challenging lighting conditions, so we've done well to get an exposure in here. I find the guy on the right hand side looking on, the fan looking on, a tiny bit distracting. I almost feel like this could have done with been a little bit closer in there and choosing to crop in and choosing to get those expressions. But I mean, I'm not going to say anything overly critical on this shot at all, because it's such a dangerous shot for you to attempt to capture there and be part of. But yeah, again, to be there and to be in that moment and to capture it with all of the shards just after the impact, just after the glass has been hit, the powder coming out of the fluorescent tube as well. It's a tricky shot to do, but yeah, no, well done on that one. Bravo. Simple things done well. Simplicity, first of all, of choosing to capture this image in black and white, which means that we haven't got any distracting elements. We're literally looking at what's been presented in front of us. And what's been presented in front of us, I'm looking at, first of all, I'm looking at eyes, and then I'm looking at the tattoo across the chest. Great connection with our subject there. We've got a real look straight down the middle of the lens, and I'm going back to those eyes every time I look at it. What I really like about it as well is the simplicity of choosing to use one light. And one light is something that I'm a big advocate of. I shot a lot of my wrestling work with one light. One light is the easiest thing to travel with, and you can work a whole photography career trying to master one light photography, and this one's been done really, really well here. They're like skimming across from the left hand side, giving this nice soft light but going into shadow on the side of the face there. I do like the turn away from the camera. I'd like to see an angle here where we've turned more front on. The ears just caught a little bit of the light on the right hand side here. Slightly dominant, slightly big on that side there. So turn the body towards the camera so the shoulders are straight on. Not only do we eliminate that, but also we make a bigger thing of that tattoo across the chest. And that can be a real symmetrical portrait, something looking straight down the middle of the lens. But I love this 3/4 pose, and the lighting's on point here. This is good one light photography. Well done, Chris. Bang! Okay, just again, moments between the moments is what I like to say. It's all well and good trying to get a shot on impact, but getting that moment just before allows us as viewers to sort of draw conclusions that aren't there, which is really, really interesting. There's a good colour palette here of reds and greens, which is working really, really nicely together here. And you've done well with the lighting. I love the little accents of these almost like street lamps in the background there, adding a little bit of yellow tungsten warm lighting into the arena. And then with the spotlights behind coming down, really adds an element of drama. Leading lines of the ring ropes behind, drawing our eyes into the middle of the picture is good, and a good choice of a panoramic crop. I like that. It's a shame that we've just cropped off this light on the left hand side here. Maybe we would have kept that in to match the lights on the other side to give us nice sort of bookends to focus in between. I love the timing on this front foot as well. The wide angle really, really accentuating that movement. It's a shame the referee's face is just obscured in the background there. Potentially look at Photoshop. Try and clone him out if you can and have a look at it again. But yeah, lovely capture on that one. Good timing on that one. Good moment. Well observed there, Chris. This is all about expression. And goodness me, you're in the cage warriors. You're in these environments where it's dangerous to shoot, and you're doing a great job. So lots going on in this one. The more you look at it, the more you see. But ultimately, your eye still comes back to the guy in the middle, the guy covered in blood, and the expression that he's caught there. And the fact that you've managed to get that through chainmail is really, really, really well observed and really, really well done. So bravo to you from there. I'm not going to criticise sort of angles or anything on there. What I would say is that his face is so dominant in this one. His face is so expressive that everything else becomes sort of like a bit of an afterthought in the picture, including the staple gun in his hand. So that's not really the narrative that I'm being drawn towards, but great timing on that portrait, great timing on that capture. Potentially room there for a slightly longer focal length to zoom closer in on that face, because it's such a congested ring with lots of things going on. It's good to get those wide angle shots of scenes. But it's also better to bear in mind that you can get those shots where you're zoomed in and you're getting the moments isolated of the wrestlers in and around the action. Whoa! Look at that. Well, this is just, I love these outdoor events that you do frequently in America, I assume, because you have more reliable weather than we do out here in the UK. A well-balanced sort of skyline there with the exposure compared to the foreground. It's a little bit dark in the foreground. But I like I just like the feel of it. I like the outdoor feel of it, and the outdoor feel of the crowd sort of all stood there just sort of pottered around, not crammed up against the ringside, but just sort of pottered around, just watching on. And the timing on that flip is great. She's got a lovely expression there in the face, just fighting through the hair, but What a lovely angle, a real triangle, almost like a bird sort of flying in on an angle, like a bird of prey coming in from the side there. It's good timing on that one. I like it, and it sort of showcases the athleticism of what's going on in the ring at that time. So it's well handled there. Submission, again, submissions at ringside are great. I love shooting submissions at ringside. They give you good time to get good expression. It's a shame the point of focus is on the guy at the background here. I think there's more expression and more interest in the person who's in the move in the foreground. In these positions, you know they're going to go and reach out for the ropes like this. You know they're going to come forward and try and grab that. And that's the shot you're trying to get. That's the shot I'm always trying to get there. I'm trying to come round and trying to reach through with the camera to get them to come straight up towards me. But this is a good angle here. We've got a lovely triangle working from the person in the submission in the foreground to the guy in the background coming down. So that's good. You've got some branding in there for the promotion in the background, which is good as well. And a good balance there with that very, very bright spotlight. Although it's very bright and although it's very distracting, we've managed to utilize it so that it feels like it's part of the live event. It feels like it's part of the live feels there. So I just feel like there's maybe a different angle, maybe a different expression there that maybe could have taken that up and brought that up to the next level. Lovely portrait, this. Simplicity of black and white. I love the expression. I love the hand up on the guardrail there with the look of the face looking up towards the hand, and the slight accents of barbed wire across the chain link is really nice. Good processing there. It feels very silver. Feels very, very authentic. Little bit more light on that title belt if we can. I'm going to be doing a video on how to photograph title belts soon, so you'll be able to see how you can utilize light to really make that thing shine and really show off the federation that title belt belongs to. But a good use of framing and a good use of subject placement in this one to create a portrait that feels authentic but also gives me a good feel of the character behind it. Timing and moments. This is great timing. He feels superimposed on there. I'm not sure he is. I'm sure this is all part of the moment, but goodness me, what is going on here? There's a lot going on there. Like I say, it feels it's on a very, very slight angle. Maybe there's a slight tilt in there. It looks like a no rope match, so you've got no distractions in there at all. And to get that timing of him in front of that flary light in the background is great. So our eye is drawn up to there, and again, there's a natural triangle coming on in here, and we as viewers are asked to assume, what's going to happen next, and it's pretty obvious what's going to happen next. It looks very, very brutal indeed. But yeah, good timing on that one. Have a look at this light balance on the inside. If you ever struggle with your color balance on the inside in terms of images looking a bit muddy and a little bit yellow, maybe you can turn them to black and white. It's difficult though when you've got blood, because you want to showcase the blood, you want to showcase the red in there. So it's always worth having a play around and having a look at that from there. Great portrait here in terms of character. I can feel the character. I like the wardrobe there. This, for me, needs a crop. I don't think the lower half of the image is doing anything for me. It's not adding any intrigue. Everything that's of intrigue to me is up in the top. It's the tattoo on the chest, it's the necklace, it's the collar, it's the zips and the pockets of the texture of the leather jacket, it's the ring, it's the face, it's the expression. And all of that is in the top half, top third of the image there. So for me, get in there, get closer, and try and get a little bit more character out of those portraits by getting a little bit closer, by focusing on those details, the details that really sort of make the wrestler there. But again, nice clean lighting on this one, good contrast on that one as well, nice post-processing. I love all of the texture and the tones throughout it. Have an experiment with the black and white on that one as well. I think the necklace and the tattoo and the jacket will come up really nicely in black and white on that one. Another portrait here, good lighting on the belt. We can see the branding, we can see it's the brightest thing in the image. It should be the most important thing in any wrestling federation, so it should be the most important thing in the image. Good storytelling with the back there, with all of the place names and the states on there. It maybe just needed to make a bit of a thing of the mask coming in. You could potentially have a look at the posing, have a look at bringing that mask up onto the shoulder to have a nice panoramic image with the belt on one side and the mask on the other side. It's difficult when we're turning the head and we've got all of those straps there and we really, really want to show off more of that face mask. It's a difficult thing that we're trying to achieve, but it's a good attempt on this one. Again, as with the previous portrait, I think all of the interest here is in the top half. So simplify it for yourself. and focus in on that top half and try and get all of the points of interest there without having any of the negative space in the bottom half. Oh, we've got kind of like a misty filter on this one. It feels kind of like dreamlike. I love the pose in here and the highlight above. It's a shame those two spotlights, there's two little spotlights at the top here. It's a shame they're just in. They don't almost need to be there. You can bring that crop down just a little bit more. And I think, have a look at a square crop on this. I don't know whether the fans in the background are adding anything to this shot. And I think it would be much simpler if we just had the turnbuckles, the pose, and a few of the ring ropes coming off to the side with him looking up. I think that's a really, really lovely, serene sort of, I'm guessing pre-match shot here, I don't know. But good use of the lighting, good use of yellow angle. I can see you getting down low on that canvas. And yeah, that's a lovely observational shot between the moves at ringside. I like that a lot. So there we go, exclusively wrestling images there from Chris Manning. You can check out his work, photos by Manning. Loved looking at those, love the progression from the last portfolio review. I love the progression in the portraits especially. There's some really interesting characters in there and some really well handled simple lighting, which I love. And the extreme stuff in the ring, I mean, is it my cup of tea or not? I don't know, but you're a braver man than I getting involved in all of those shenanigans at ringside. If you'd like a portfolio review, you can get one. You can email me, portraitofawrestler@gmail.com. It's simpler than you think. Just send me your details. You can get involved and we could feature your work on this channel. If you want to follow me, it's Y2JimBob on the Instagram and the Twitter. It's Portrait of a Wrestler everywhere else. What's your favourite image from this portfolio review? Let us know in the comments below. And as ever, all the very best.